We've got, we caught some menhaden this morning. We used those up Spanish fishing this morning, king fishing. We're using sabiki rigs, and it's just basically looks like little flies. You attach a weight underneath them, and you drop them down. Anywhere you find pods of bait, it's easy to find bait, usually around the alphanumeric buoys. There's a boat right next to us that's got a stringer full of them right there. We're on the Charlie buoy. It's about 9 miles off the beach or so. And those baits basically gather around these buoys. There's a long chain that hangs down, and then they congregate around these buoys. Sometimes they're visual, sometimes they're on top, and you'll see them sprinkle in the water. It looks like rain on top of the water. And when you don't see that, if you'll ease around these buoys within 50 to 100 yards of these buoys, you'll usually find some down deep. Get over the top of them, find out what depth they are on your screen, and then just set your drop your line down to approximately that depth, and then jig them softly. If they're there, you'll usually pick them up. Sometimes they're real finicky though. Our first stop, we just dropped down and we picked up 2 stringerfuls of usually a mixture between Boston mackerel, cigar minnow, Spanish sardines, and threadfin herring. Those are all threadfin, like Mike said. Like to have some Boston mackerel or some cigar minnows too. If you're looking for baits for bottom fishing too, for grouper fishing or flounder fishing, you can quite often drop these jigs down to the bottom and you'll pick up small pinfish. 3, 4, 5 inch long pinfish, which really work good for flounder fishing, grouper fishing, catching AJs and stuff. There's a school right here, but they're not taking. They're not picking up the baits. What's that white thing? Got a couple of Spanish sardines there. Not bad, but still like to see some cigar minnows or Boston mackerel just to have something different. It's important to be real careful with these hooks. They're real sharp. They're not real long. I mean, you know, they're not going to go to the bone, but they're going to go into your skin. They're going to pierce your skin as soon as you touch them if you slip. So usually we'll hold the top of the leader, let our fish dangle, and slowly work down them one at a time and take them off and keep that line tight, real tight. They grab a hold of your hand and they're definitely going to pierce the skin. Easy to get out, but they don't feel good. There's a cigar minnow right there. There's one of them anyway. We've been catching mainly greenies and threadfin, but there's a cigar minnow. He's got real smooth skin, no scales like a king mackerel. He's got yellow tips on his fins. We'd like to have a bunch of those. Mike was saying earlier, a cigar minnow or a Boston mackerel is a real good bait to put down deep too, and we like to have our threadfin. It's a taller fish like a menhaden, and we like to have those up top. Their back will cut the water, cause a big disturbance on the surface too, but we like to have some more of those before we drop lines in this morning. Mike and I both each just had one hooked up. Let them sit down there for just a minute and try to get some more on there. I had one off, I've only got one on there.
Once you get one to hit it, just hold some pressure. You don't keep pressure on it, you let slack in it. The rig will get all tangled up. So just hold pressure and try to let it fill up. Once one hits it, you know, they're kind of finicky today. But once you get one to hit it, it seems like all the rest of them will come around and hit it. We're out here about 14, 15 miles now. Put down the first bait of the Spanish sardine. Get him up, yeah! Roots right there. There's not much there.
He's off the bottom. He's off the bottom. It's about time.
Once you get them off the bottom, you can really just take it nice and easy, you know, good steady hard pressure.
We lost one big one. Mike caught a small one. We had 2 more knockdowns. and miss them. You got a net, or you might want to get a gaff. Ain't gonna fit in that net.
Nice grouper.
He's off the, like Mike said, he's off the bottom now. He's not going back down. I just loosened my drag a little in case I'm chafing my leader. And he's 30 foot down, 20 foot down. There he is right there.
Nice grouper.
Okay.
Sweet.
Serious.
That's dinner right
We're gonna hit this spot again. That's a new little hump. We were cruising through the area, and Mike marked a little hump. Rose up about 4 foot real fast. We were coming about 15, 20 mile an hour. He turned back around, circled it like crazy, trying to find that spot. He found it, and we almost left. I just had a little knockdown. We stayed just another second. He was there. Yeah, nice grouper. He's right there. About medium spinning tackle. Again, you know, we're doing a bunch of things out here today, but the surface bite is slowed down. And while we're waiting for an afternoon bite to start, we took some of our spinning rods, converted them over, put together some grouper rigs. We took some of the same live bait we would use for kings and mahi and whatnot on the surface, and we're dropping them down on these ledges. It's just a matter of getting pulled out, pulling them out of the bottom. So, sweet grouper right there, a nice one. You guys are like Mike and I, die-hard fishermen, love to fish, but not rich. Can't afford 2 or 3 different boats for different things. We've got a pretty day today. I want to talk for just a minute about the, about purchasing a boat and the versatility of a boat. We've got, as you know, we constantly use this Ranger 2400 bay in the backwaters, fishing skinny waters as shallow as 12 inches or so, 12 to 14 inches, targeting redfish, and then the rest of the internal waters as well. But these boats, they work really well, ride really well in the ocean as well. Today we got a really calm day. Mike and I couldn't stand it and talked about it for a few minutes this morning. Decided to come out here, jigged a bunch of baits up, and caught on some grouper rigs. And we've been able to, we run offshore about 12 miles today. We'll see if we can get into a few grouper today. And at the same time, and for some reason, and we're about 12 miles off, for some reason it gets a little rough on us. We know we got enough boat behind us to take an easy ride back in. So it's an important thing nowadays, especially with gas the way it is and fuel the way it is. When you're looking at that boat, to find something that you can do a little bit of everything with. We've got Mike just dropped down. We just pulled up on a spot here. Mike dropped down. We just got a basic grouper rig. Basically, it's a Carolina rig. It's a modified Carolina rig, meaning that we don't put our weight on the main line. A true Carolina rig, the weight stays on the main line, and it can slide as far up as you'll let it slide. We usually use about 10 or 12 inches a leader to lock the weight between 2 swivels. Around 100-pound test swivels. We're using 130-pound test fluorocarbon. For the medium weight spinning tackle we're using, we've got a 4 ounce, anywhere from Mike said he likes to use a 3 or 4 ounce egg weight, just enough to get these baits to the bottom. And then we're using several feet, usually 3 or 4 foot of fluorocarbon. And this one's got cut short already, so it's about 2.5 foot left. But 3 or 4 foot of fluorocarbon between the below the weight, between the hook, and then we're using like a 6/0 or 7/0 circle hook. So it's pretty simple. Our rods are, like I said, medium to medium heavies, and we're using like a 50-pound braid. And the biggest thing, doing this, if you're going to use this medium weight spin tackle to try to pull a grouper off the bottom, is you got to have a good reel. I mean, it's got to be a good reel. We've tried some less expensive reels, and you'll strip them out. That grouper's got a heavy pull to it, so we're using these Penn 650s right here. And as much pressure as a grouper puts on, you can still turn that handle. And you want to be able to crank him up real fast to get him off that bottom. So we're going to try this spot out and see what happens to that. There he is. Got him off. Little grouper, but
That was a big grouper. You never get him that easy.
Unless it's a flounder. What do you got there?
Small. Big barracuda getting it. See that big barracuda?
Kevin had.
Look at him.
The barracuda, zoom in on him. Look at that.
Look at that.
Right back here at it. You're about to hook him, put him back down there and get him hooked up.
It's a citation cuda. That's
It weighs
for sure.
about 3 more pounds now with that grouper just ate. You're gonna actually almost hook him. Feed him some line, let him swallow that thing. He ate it. You're gonna hook him. Oh, almost. Nope. He said no. He's gonna come back at it. Let him swallow it all the way down. Oh, we got fluorocarbon leaders in the fight through that anyway. He wants it too, don't he? I can't believe he's coming back for it that many times. That hook is right there. Oh, I think he's done with it. You got flounder there? Oh, that's still him. I thought you dropped back down. That whole thing's in his mouth. Oh, it's out. Oh, you got him. Let me tell him what happened here. Mike just got a. Mike had about a 3-pound grouper coming up, and we tried to save the grouper, try to get him out of the water before this about a 40-pound cuda came up, and he couldn't. The cuda cut him in half. So Mike was playing with him, trying to get him to eat the rest of it. He took her in his mouth about 4 or 5 times, and he just couldn't get him to take the hook. Mike rehooked that piece of that grouper, and finally got the hook set in that Barracuda.
Better drop down for a grouper. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, that's if he stays hooked up. We're using, again, we don't have any steel leader on here because we're grouper fishing. You know, it's a 130-pound test fluorocarbon. So Mike must have him hooked in the corner of the jaw. Otherwise, that leader would be cut in two already. It's a good sized hook though. The hooks we're using. We've got that 7/0 circle hook down there, so he probably caught him in the corner of the jaw. So Mike might actually land this one.
He couldn't eat my grouper.
A lot of times in the heat of the day, these big barracuda just linger around. They won't touch a lot of your live baits. They won't touch a lot of your live baits you put on them, but they'll usually eat a nice fresh, fish off the bottom down there, big sea bass or a grouper or something like that.
Citation for a grouper, a barracuda is 20 pounds. So.
He's over 30, that one.
I don't have a citation for a barracuda.
You're about to have one. They're actually good eating. A lot of folks throw them back, don't think anything about it. I know they have a problem with some of them down in the Caribbean, Florida to the Caribbean, with something in them that they say is toxic or something like that. But they're really good eating. They're a little smelly, but they're really nice white meat on them. There's a lot of folks around here that eat them. I mean, we certainly wouldn't waste them. We wouldn't take them in for a citation or bring them up to the top and have them die to throw them back. We'll hook them up and get them in here. We'll take them home, put them on the grill. A lot of times when you're fishing with light, king tackle, they cut you off, and especially these big ones. I think we've got a few boats moving in the area that I think we're hooked up with a monster king here. I've got the gaff on the bow, and that would be a nice king there, wouldn't it?
About 30.
He looked over 30, and he's in the water, so.
He's got a belly full of too.
Yeah, he does. He weighed 30, now weighs 33. Coming up. For a moment anyway. That's a monster. You might be able to. It's pretty big. Again, most of the time we hook a big one like this, we never get him to the top. Get a good shot on him. That's a pretty darn big barracuda.
Bring right to you.
Yeah, you better go over 30. I want to be real careful because this fish's jaw, so.
He's got some massive teeth.
The size of this barracuda.
See them teeth. He'll eat through a 20, 30-pound king and you won't even feel him hit it. It's amazing. Them cutters right here on the bottom. Them cutters. Got them on the top. These big ones, they'll just grip his prey. You use these cutters to cut through it.
Let's lay him in the floor of the boat.
About 35.
Yeah, he's over 30 pounds. He's definitely over 30 pounds. He is about 48, 50, probably 50, or just over 50 inches long. That's a big barracuda there. I'll leave him on the gaff for a minute. Mike's got a grouper on right there now. Small one again, but yeah. What we're doing, I mean, you know, if you're wondering where we're catching these fish, we're really just, if you get any live bottom sharks, and on those live bottom sharks, look for those areas. They're well-known areas all over, and we ease around and we're just finding those little 2, 3, 4 foot humps, little ledges here and there, real small things that's hard to identify unless you zoom in on your fish finder. Mike was talking about it earlier today to me. You've got to take that fish finder, you've got to zoom way in on that fish finder as far as it will go. We're running Lowrance fish finder and GPS, and I know Lowrance is one of the best there on that for clarity and whatnot. For a good quality unit that's inexpensive, we're running these 520Cs, these colors, split units. But anyway, we keep them zoomed in all the way, and we can find just the lip of those little 2, 3, 4 foot ledges. And that, you know, that's where the bait's congregating down there, the bottom fish, other bait, and those grouper right there. And there may not be a lot, you know, a ton of grouper down there, but all these ledges have got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 grouper here or there, and sometimes there is a big, you know, big school of grouper down there. We're fishing usually anywhere from 8 miles to 15 miles when we do this stuff. But it's something different. You know, when things slow down, if you are doing like these guys around us here, trolling for kings, and everything slows down, and you've got live bait and you've got the rods to handle it, it gives you something, you know, something alternative, something different to do.
It went from 60 to 62 right there. Now you see that little bit of a break? Watch when I zoom it out on a regular scale. There's hardly anything here. I mean,
it looks like just a little bit of bait on the bottom.
Just a little bit of bait on the bottom. You can't even really see the break in the ledge or nothing. Zoom that in, makes all the difference in the world.
Probably the best thing to do is if you're out ever out in these areas and you're slow trolling for kings like the gentleman in front of us frog gigging there. When you're doing that, keep your fish finder zoomed in real tight to the bottom like that, and you'll mark these little ledges. You know, save them, save a waypoint on them, and that's the stuff that later on, maybe later on that same day, when things slow down, you drop down some live baits to the bottom or dead bait to the bottom, and try to snatch a grouper off the bottom. Try to take that challenge. Maybe not. Might have just been the ledge.
Yeah, it got me in the ledge.
Little guy in the ledge, or?
Yeah. Fish felt good until he come out the ledge. He hit and went straight to that ledge. That's what they do. Another small fish. Can't get a big one. Look at that leader. That's where I drug him out of that ledge.
Whoa. If I didn't know any better, I'd say I had a flounder on here.
Sea bass.
Look, I got something just hitting mine, and there's dead weight to him. He's sitting on the bottom. Let me get this flounder off the bottom. Nah, it's a little grouper. It's like a small grouper. Felt like he just hit it and went in the hole and sat there with it.
Small sea bass. He's probably about 11 and a half. Size limit on sea bass this year is 12 inches.
Another small grouper there. Little 18-inch. Pretty fish. Maybe next season will be good.
Welcome to the too small club.
That's a right, sea bass. I don't know, wait a minute. Flounder or sea bass? Sea bass. He wasn't tugging at all, wasn't doing just that little tiny sea bass. Got one? Decent fish? Good God, somebody's ate him. Barracuda just got him. Barracuda just got him. No? I need to stick him. I need to stick him. Got a shark? Shark. Get a shark. That's like a freaking damn flounder on it. There ain't no shark now. What we got here? I don't know what I got. It's acting like it. I swear it was quivering like a flounder. It's a shark again. Yeah, it's a shark there. No, it's a grouper right there. Grouper. Too small, I believe. It's getting there. We moved in, we're just about 3 miles off the beach now. A little spot sometimes has some nice ones on it. It needs to be about 2 inches longer, that one.